Hello everybody, this is Chemdork and welcome to episode number 4 of season number 2 of the My Buildcraft series, yay! Where we are playing with Minecraft using the mods Buildcraft, Thermal Expansion, and Forestry. Alright, so here we are. We're still in Minecraft 1.4.7 even though there is a new one out. Haven't downloaded it yet and the mods don't work for it yet, so... well, there you go. I'm just going to keep this for now. Anyway, we're here by our oil pump because we left last episode where we couldn't get the oil pump to pump using 4 redstone engines, even though it absolutely can. And it was a little confusing at the time, but I got it working, and I mentioned in that video last episode that I figured it out pretty much right after we ended. So the whole thing has to do with, and just to show you it does actually work, let's go ahead and start this thing. We'll see it pumping in a second. So the whole idea was, you see how I dammed up this area? This was all flowing into and over that pump hole. And that worked. But then I kind of wanted to check it out a little more and see, like, maybe there was something else that I was missing. And, you know, I did a little investigation. So I'm going to show you a little bit in creative what the investigation is all about. As you see, this is now pumping oil just fine. Alright, so I got plenty of oil now, so I'm gonna shut this off. I don't need it. But we're gonna go into creative, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about this. Also in this episode, I plan on working on the power plant to get that up, sort of running the way I want it to, and maybe start on placing down some of the machines that we will need to use in this series to, you know, craft a bunch of cool stuff. Alright, so I'll show you that in a bit, but for now let's just go to a creative world where I can talk a little bit about pumps and some other things that we're going to be using today in the episode. Okay, it's time to experiment. Ooh, yes. Okay, so we're in a creative world here, and yeah, we're going to look at a few different experiments, starting first with pumps. So I was a little confused about what was happening. I kind of wanted to investigate a little bit more in my world and why it wouldn't pump. So here we go, and I have this to share with you guys. So I don't know if it's a definitive answer, but essentially, well, you'll see. Anyway, so when you place a pump in the world, anywhere, let's just put one right there. Yeah, it sits there, does nothing. Absolutely does nothing. But when you place it above a liquid source that it can pump from, you'll notice it very quickly just automatically starts lowering this pipe thing. Notice how this is lowering a pipe, this one is not. That's because it's above a source block of water. So this is actually a little like a Science of Buildcraft episode within this episode. I could save this for a Science of Buildcraft episode as well. I might go over this in one that I do on pumps if that's going to happen, but for now, let's just look at this. Okay, so the pipe goes down, and you notice it stops at the bottom of the first source block that it hits. So let's go ahead and start this pumping. Or start the engines going. So you notice I have 4 redstone engines, just like we had before. I found that, you know, if all 4 of these go, basically 12 pumps of a redstone engine total, I suppose, are enough to pump water, but that actually was 4 strokes, never mind. Anyway, so after a few strokes, though, you get a bunch of water, the source block is removed, and the pipe goes down, and this sort of continues and continues and continues until eventually this pipe will reach the bottom where this lake is, and then start pulling from randomly around where the pipe is, if there's source blocks in the, you know, even with that, and connected to the same lake. So it would never pull, for example, these over here because they're not connected to the same body of water. So there you go. That's pretty cool. So let me just remove that pump. All right, and let's replace the source blocks that we just removed, which was just the one, I believe. Come on. Okay. Now let's see what happens when there's flowing water over the source block. So there's a source block. Oops. Right here, let me just place the pump so we can get things going. There's a source block right here, but now there's flowing water at this height right here. There's just the smallest amount of flowing water from that source block over here. So let's see what happens. So the pipe is lowered again. Remember last time it stopped right here. This time it actually stops above that. So it stops in the flowing block of water. Let's see what happens when we try to pump this. What's your thoughts? Do you think this will actually work? If it works, we should see some water coming up there. So we'll give it another little second or two. And oh, looks like it pumped some water, and as you can see, it actually pumped from that source block. So the pump is basically smart enough to know that if it's hit a water where it can't remove, or liquid that it cannot remove, such as a flowing liquid, it basically follows back the flowing liquid to where the first source block it finds and removes that one. This actually holds true as well if you from quite a distance away, both up high and way over in the distance over here. And actually, even if you have these two source blocks together in a combined sort of flow, the pump will know. So right now it's at this level, which means it's trying to pump that source block. This is a flowing block of water, as are all of these. So you'll notice that, oh, see, it removed that source block up there. It just did that right now. You saw that little bit of water. And it should, in a second, remove the one way over there. And in fact, there it goes. And yep, we can see the flow is now slowly going back again. And then it'll just resume sucking up what it normally does. So it's pretty cool. It works really great. You know, this actually works pretty well. The problem and the difference that I had was that I didn't just have water flowing. I had water and oil flowing. So let me remove this pump again, and we'll do a final sort of test to show you what was going on in my world. So basically, and I'm pretty sure this is what was the problem. So I basically had this. Let's just say there's oil here. So in my case, it was actually reversed. There's water and oil, but basically there is a mixture of water and oil. So if you have water and oil flowing into each other, they kind of meet in the same way water does, but they don't mix. So if we do it this way, let's see what happens. Oops. There we go. And I actually never tried this specifically, so we'll see what happens. So the pump should stop right here. It should stop lowering its pipe right about that height. And let's go see, because now what we have is we have a flowing block of oil on top of a source block of water. So I don't know how the pump is going to react to this. It might not like it, and it might not pump. So if there's more than 4 cycles of these engines, it's gonna be indicative that it's not gonna pump. Okay, it actually removed oil, which I'm just gonna remove this right now. And ooh, what do we have here? So for now, let me just get rid of these pipes. Bring back Buildcraft pipes. Just give me a moment, because I don't want that oil to mix. Oops. Let's do it this way, build it again, and put it there. Okay. So now what we have is a problem. So it removed that oil, but notice there's still some oil here. For some reason, there's still an oil block here. That doesn't make any sense at all, right? I can actually reset this and make this work if I do both. One of two things. What I did in my world was just cut off any flowing liquids from being over top of the source block. So if I do that, it sort of resets the thing, and then it's not a problem anymore. So now the pump is saying, okay, now I should be okay. It's lowering itself, and it should resume operation as if nothing is any different whatsoever. And that's basically what happened in my world, and this is basically how I solved it. I just put some blocks around the edge so it stopped the flowing going down into that hole, and there you go. But I think I had a situation reversed, actually, where there was oil source blocks here, and for some reason a liquid water block got caught on top of it. Basically, as a mixture of water and oil flow into each other, weird things like that happen, and I've just kind of found that is the case. So that's kind of the pump story. Don't want to spend too much more time on it just because I like to get to building and changing things in the world, so let's move on. The second thing I wanted to show you guys was the Aqueous accumulator and our use for what it's going to do, mainly, at least, in our world. So actually, let me just set the time for nice and early. So in the past, for our power plants and all our combustion engines running on fuel, we cooled them with this. We cooled them with a pump, pumping water in a 5x5 infinite pool, which is kind of what you need for a combustion engine pooling water. Running on the combustion engine was running the pump, running on fuel. Just a minute. And, that was pumping to cool 3 engines, basically. 3 combustion engines running on fuel. This is a good setup for that. This is a good setup for cooling that. In thermal expansion, they have this aqueous accumulator, which is pretty cool. So I just placed this one a little while ago. And very slowly, you see this number going up. It basically very slowly increases or collects water, extremely slowly. The cool thing is that if you put a source blocks next to it, it increases that collection rate. And if you put 2 source blocks next to it, it really increases that collection rate. So let me reset this. And as you see, this water is going up and up pretty quickly, much quicker than this guy right here. So we're actually going to do a little test. So this is under redstone control right now. So it's enabled for redstone control when a signal is given. And I'm going to turn this on. It's going to turn on the pump. It's going to turn on the aqueous accumulator, and we'll see which one fills up the tank first. So we'll do this. Place your bets, everybody. Who is going to be faster? All right. I will do a little time lapse here, and we'll see who wins. Well, it may not be a surprise to you guys, but yep, a pump being powered by a combustion engine that is running on fuel is definitely faster than the aqueous accumulator in about a 3-to-2 ratio here. So it's about 50% faster in reality than the aqueous accumulator at its fastest. However, remember that this was good enough to really cool down 3 combustion engines running on fuel. Therefore, it seems like the aqueous accumulator would be perfect for 2. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to use in our world, and this is kind of the reasoning behind it. So basically, when this filled up 3 blocks tall of tank, the aqueous accumulator could only fill up 2. So it seems like where this setup normally can cool 3 combustion engines running on fuel, this setup should be able to cool 2. So that makes sense, right? I think so. It makes sense to me. And finally, the third piece of thing here that I wanted to show you guys. So I just have a real easy setup for power. And I wanted to show you that you can use the refinery not just to refine oil, but you can actually refine biomass. So let's fill up this with some biomass. Start it pumping. Just get some of that sucker into the refinery. All right, and all right, you see it's starting to fill up the refinery. You can, if you right-click on the refinery, hold on, yeah. There is like a GUI here that you can actually do, and it says like biomass will turn into biofuel. I don't really know what this is all about, though. It's actually really confusing for me. I'm not really sure. I think it's like which tank can hold what, I think. Because you see now it's not actually filling that one tank. That's weird. Huh. Interesting. I don't know how to reset them, and yeah, it's weird. But anyways, let's start the refining process here. And as you see, it starts to refine it into biofuel, which is this orange stuff. So that's pretty cool. And the biofuel works the same way as normal fuel. I think it doesn't burn for as long in the engines. I think it only lasts. It's still pretty comparable. In terms of energy output, I think it's the same, but in terms of length of time per bucket, it's a little bit less. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys for now. Let's go back into the world and the main world here and get out of this creative garbage. And do some building. Yes! See you in a second. Well, that was fun. Alright, so let's go show you what we're going to be doing today. Yeah. Let's figure out what's going on with our power, but first I wanted to show you a nifty little room that I had set up, which I think is pretty cool. So if you recall, our power plant is down here, and I used to have a door here, but a zombie broke it down. Stupid zombies. We are going to go and revert back to the spider type setup, kind of similar to what I had before. A little different, but you know, more or less the same. Where basically the engines are going to be down here, pointed up, instead of on the side here, because on the side looks kind of cool, but basically it'll be obstructed from any view because we'll have blocks next to it. So that's, you know, it's not a good setup. Not as cool as the other setup. So, anyways, and looks mean something. Speaking of which, check out this room. All right, I like my little skylights I put in. They're pretty cool, and they provide a lot of light during the day and meaningful light during the night because I have a bunch of torches up there. But basically, this room, I was originally going to have it as 2 rooms. The whole idea was basically to have like this area be most likely where I'm going to do like potions and stuff, maybe. I never even got around to doing that in the last season. Oh well. But anyways, here, right here, is where right below the power plant, you see that's where the power line is there. And it's going to come right up to here. I was originally going to have one room over here for basically smelting and stuff, and one room for crafting stuff that required power. And there's actually a lot of like individual machines in thermal expansion and forestry that need that. But I thought, you know what, let's just have them as one big room because I'll probably be going back and forth between the two pretty well because I'll, you know, smelt some stuff and then use it over here, you know. So sounds pretty cool. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. I think I'm going to have furnaces right against this wall, electric furnaces against this wall, maybe pulverizer furnace mixtures, and, you know, have some sort of automated thing going on. But, you know, we'll maybe visit that in a bit. But for now, let us fix the power plant and get that going the way I want it to. I'm going to have to go and grab some various goodies and items in order to do that, so I will be right back. Alrighty, let's get on our way now. I got everything I need. Let's go down to the power plant area and start working. So I'm going to turn this back into the spider mode, essentially. I did create down here, I dug out a little bit here, just to show you for fun. This area right here, this is going to be my wiring room, and as you see, it's right over a ravine, so I had to kind of build on top of a ravine. Oh well, such is the life of a Minecrafter. Got everything I need, I believe, and let's get to work. So, first, what's going to happen? Essentially the same setup here. I'm going to have it, I got, what, 4, 5, 6 right now, 6 engines. We will have 8, so at least at one point we will have 8. And I am going to run this, I think, right like this instead, which I believe it was initially run like this way, and I changed it because I wanted to run the line here for this liquid, but it doesn't really matter now, so I'll get rid of it. Alright, so I kind of like the fact that these pipes break a little more difficult, are a little more difficult to break. That way you don't accidentally break them. They were a little too easy to break last time. Oh, I need to get that back because it's gold. Gold is really expensive and these pipes are hard to come by. Of course I have tons of them now, but still, they are. Alright, so let's just break everything and grab it back. We got some redstone too. Great, great. Alright. And, of course, the engines. I mostly ran them out of whatever oil, etc. they had. And then I guess we'll break these too. I don't know what's the best to break pipes with. I think it's just anything. I don't think it's really tool specific. Alright, so this skeleton, however, we are basically keeping. It's kind of the same idea. There'll be a center line that they all feed into. So it's a little different than last season because I didn't have this sort of setup here. And then they will be... there we go. That's what I wanted. There'll be these wooden pipes coming down, and then there'll be engines below that. And then, of course, I only have 6 engines right now, but that's fine. It's no big deal right now. So there's an engine here, 2, 3, and then we'll do a 4, a 5, a 6, and I'll add the last 2 at some point, and they probably won't be the last 2. I can always add on to this with more engines if I wished to do so, and I probably will. So we're going to basically have a pipe going from this this tank. This will be our fuel tank. Remember, the fuel that we are using at the time. This is anything that's coming from the refinery. It'll be either biofuel or the yellow stuff, the fuel. And then I'll be able to transfer it over to this tank, which is basically the fuel I will be using for running my power plant. So it's a little power plant at this point, but that's pretty cool. All right, let me get this wiring set up underneath, and then since you don't really need to see that, but I'll start to get the wiring set up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I did it, and hooked up this little switch to be power downstairs. I'll show it to you eventually, probably. And if not, it's basically the same setup as I had before, just a bunch of torches underneath these guys. Actually, they're not directly underneath, but I think that still works. And if not, I'll just have to adjust. Now, for this, I'm going to want to move this fuel into these engines at some point in time. For now, I'm just going to use buckets until, well, I'll use buckets. But, well, basically, yeah. Basically, I'm going to use buckets to move fuel from here to here. And in order to do that, I need to free up some inventory space. So let's just do that. All right. Let's move it from here to here. And fill this with just a bit of... Oh, you know what? That was kind of stupid. I should actually fill these engines with fuel. That's right. I should probably do that. There's one. There's another. And even though... There you go. There's another. There's another. Nah, we'll take it from here. Is that it? There's another. There's another. And one more little bat. One more little guy here. Now that I put in these other 2, there's another. And finally, number 8. All right, cool. Let's grab all our stuff back. And yeah, I'll be putting in a pipe here to go to all engines. It'll just be, I guess, just like stone waterproof. That's plenty. All right, so we'll do that. Put it right there, and then yeah, we'll just run it here. We'll put it right alongside these engines. I kind of don't want it to do that. Yeah, I kind of don't want it to touch the engines until I'm ready for it to do so. Oh, I hate to say it, but I kind of want to move this over to the right one. Maybe. I might do that. I'm going to have to do that, guys. All right, I'll be back. So I guess this is actually probably a good time then to show you how this thing is wired now that I got it moved. So up there is going to be where the switch is, some vertical wiring going down. And then it goes to this little repeater. Goes to a block here. And then I have another repeater. I set a delay for effect, but nothing else. It does not need it. You can have these undelayed completely, but I set it just because it has a cool like wave effect. And I also think it actually helps with the power generation because then it's not just like pulse, pulse, pulse. It's like kind of constant if they're all waving. All right. There we go. Let me put the torches on top of all of these, and then there's a block above, and then on that block is the engine. Now I hope this works. I don't know if it actually will. Darn it, the only way to get back up is to go up here, which is kind of fine, but it's kind of a little annoying as well. Really quick, let me just see if this actually works. Don't we need the torches right underneath the engines? Alright, I'll have to change that right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Huh, I went to go change it, and I kind of noticed something. I didn't move the engines. I did not move the engines. I moved the wiring, but I did not move the engines. That is a bit stupid. And, oh, crap, I just filled these with fuel. But I do want to really move them, so I guess I'll just have to waste this fuel. Oh well, I spent so much time refining it, but there's more. It's okay. All right, so I'll be back when I get this all set up and running perfectly. So I'll be right back. Okay, now it's all set and they can run. Woohoo! Look at that. This is why I have them all like that. Cool. All right. Generating power. A nice solid beam, looking pretty good. And our refineries are probably fast as anything now. Yeah, because there's only 2. That's nice. All right, so let me get this pumping going. Nope, that's the wrong one, but that's okay. I'll figure this out eventually. And then it's probably a good time to transfer some oil over there as well. So we'll get to seeing what's going on here. This should be generating a lot of fuel. All right, goody, goody, goody. Goody, goody. All right, but we're not done. Remember aqueous accumulators? And I'd said that I need 1 aqueous accumulator will be able to cool 2 pumps, most likely. So I think what I'm going to have is, well, basically I'll have the aqueous accumulators maybe to the side of these guys. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be... Oh, okay. I'll have to put stuff underneath here, but basically there's going to be there, 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 and there, and there. There's going to be little pockets of water. And then right next to them, and then basically I will have aqueous accumulators running right alongside the pumps to provide them with water. So you'll kind of see my setup here. It's going to be kind of cool. All right, I'll be actually right back. Actually, I kind of did that a little wrong, but that's okay. I'll be right back. Okay, time for the aqueous accumulators to go in which case, here they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and then we're going to put water here and here, which should make this go crazy. And we're just going to keep them always on. They're just going to always be generating. I think that's probably, whoops, I think that's probably appropriate. And this should work just fine. Yeah, this should work just fine for the cooling purposes, and we should be all set. And it looks like today we're not going to get to machinery. We're probably going to be stopping right after we set this sucker up. So in setting it up, we're going to use cobblestone pipes. I think this will be appropriate because it didn't fill up in our little test. It did not fill up the other pipes before, so I think this will be appropriate. If necessary, we can switch to bigger pipes, but I don't think there's actually enough flow to fill up anything other than this cobblestone pipe. And for this, we're going to keep and continue with stone. See, now this is the reason why I moved them, because I didn't want this stone pipe to cross this engine twice. It'll screw up all with the delivery of fuel. Now already, this guy is going to get fuel last. It's just going to be how it is. But these guys should be... Whoops. Come on. Oops. But as you see... Yeah, it's working. All right, that's cool. Okay, let's get to getting and see how this sucker goes. Nice. That's pretty cool. All right, awesome. And then it says as a final thing here, I have to take the fuel out of this and pump it into that tank up there. But the way I have to do this, however, is going to be to take this wooden pipe from the bottom, because we have to pump it from the bottom, basically. There's no real option otherwise to do it. All right, let's do it this way. Whoops. All right, and I guess we'll run the pipe. I guess we'll run it. I mean, I can actually run it to the bottom of this tank. You know, in all seriousness, I could run it to right to the bottom of this tank. But that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And it doesn't really matter which one we use. We can use a stone just because we have it now. That should be fine to use. Do it this way. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll have it run down this way. That's maybe okay. This is really just aesthetics, kind of how I want to run it. Yeah, this works. And then we'll do it that way, and then I need, you know, now it's too bad I don't have the Arctic gates yet, but that's coming up in subsequent episodes from Buildcraft. But until now, that spider's really annoying me, by the way. Until now, we'll run this. It's just a matter of where I want my wiring. And I guess I want it to be in this wall. So you know what? I'm going to probably put the pump right here. That sounds good. All right, cool. Okay, I'm going to run this wiring. Not something you need to see. And then I'll be right back. Okay, I ran it, and this is looking quite good, I must say. I have to say, I'm under obligation to say. No, I'm just kidding. I must say. So, anyways, this is the wiring. It's going down like that, and I'm just going to put a little light in there and seal the sucker up. Goodbye. And here we go. We're pumping. We're pumping. We're pumping. It should come up here, as it will eventually be looking like it. There it comes. There it comes. So there you go. Pumping. Filling, filling, filling. All right. Nice. So there you go. And for now, this is going to be the switch to fill all these. It should be set up automatically eventually. But as you notice, we are at a nice steady 49,106. These things have been running for a little while, and we're actually generating a decent amount of refined oil. Of course, we're generating way more power than we need, or way more power than we can use right now, because the refineries are not using it all. But the reason why we're generating extra is because we actually want that. Later on, we're going to be storing it, and for now... Oh my goodness, shut up, spider, shut up, shut up! I think he's over here. But anyways, but for now, we're going to be using this power in this room, where we're going to be running it with furnaces, etc. So we're going to be doing stuff with that extra power. Don't you worry. All right, guys. For now, though, this has got to be it. Episode's getting kind of long, and I'll see you in the next episode. We'll get this room all set up. All right. Catch you guys later, and thanks for watching.